Okay, so today I'm teaching you slope, huh? Is it hot? I'm not hot. Okay, so we're learning about slope. Okay, today the slope of a line. So if I said, wow, that hill had a really steep slope, what do I mean by that? If it had a steep slope, it goes like straight down, right? So anybody like roller coasters? Yes. So you like steep slopes then, don't you? All right, that straight down drop. All right, now the little kiddie roller coasters, they go like, all right, they're just kind of cruising horizontally. So listen, guys, the slope of a line is very similar. All right, if I'm sloping upward, that means a positive slope. Downward would mean a negative slope. All right, so a lot of what you're going to learn today, you can kind of reason through like, hey, that makes sense. All right, so you need to know some terms. For now, we're just going to write this down, and I'm going to go back and explain it later on in the lesson. Okay, you need to know your formula for slope. y2 minus y1, is this written already? Yes. Okay, over x2 minus x1. Highlight it, star it. It is extremely important. Very, very important that you know this formula. Okay, I'm going to give you another formula. Okay, I want to kind of define when you would use this formula. You use this formula with ordered pairs. Ordered pairs, you're going to use this formula. Okay, when you have a graph, and this is how we're starting the lesson today. You will use the formula M equals rise over run. Rise over run. Rise, when you think up and down, what value do you think rise is up and down? Is it the X value or the Y value? It's the Y value. And then what about run, horizontal? What do you guys think? Come on, wake up. What do you guys think? It's the X value. All right. So I'm going to use rise over run when I have a graph to determine the slope. All right. Again, we'll talk more about that in a minute. An undefined slope has 0 in the denominator. A slope of 0 has 0 in the numerator. And parallel lines have the same slope. All right. So in a couple minutes, I'm going to refer back to these terms. All right. So just kind of tuck it back and we'll come back to it in a minute. All right, everybody have your blanks? Okay, example 1, finding slope. All right. Do you see the blue and the red lines? They're not colored on your papers, but do you see those little numbers next to them? Yeah. What do you think those numbers stand for? Like, how did they come up with those numbers? How do you think? Just tell me.
The point.
Okay. They counted what? How many blocks? How many units? You gotta listen to this part or you're gonna get confused. From left to right. So when you guys read a book, do you read right to left? No, when you're reading the lines on a page, you read left to right, right? Okay, you're gonna read a graph the same way. So your run, okay, never goes backwards. So from left to right, I'm going to go over, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why my run was 6. Does everybody see that? And then I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so my formula, I want you to write it down. M equals rise over run. This is the formula I use when I have a graph to determine my slope. What was my rise value? How many units between the 2 points did it go up?
5.
No. 5. And how many did it run? How many did it go across? 6. So that's my slope. Okay. Now look at the next one. From left to right, guys. Which direction is my point going? Up or down from left to right? Okay, so look at how the line goes. You got 1 point here and 1 point here. It's definitely going down. Okay, does everybody see from left to right my line is going down? Everybody see that? Okay, that means my rise is negative. That's why you see a -3 right there. If your slope is negative, that means the rise is negative. You will never run backwards. Does that make sense? Because you always read the left to right. The run will never be negative. All right, so write your formula again. Writing our formula helps us remember. Let's all say it together. M equals rise over run. Anybody wondering where M came from? No, you're just going with it? Okay. M is the variable for slope. I have no idea why. There's no M in the word slope, but that's what some ancient mathematician decided it was going to be. All right. So what is my change in my rise from the point on the left to the point on the right? I already circled it. Nope. -3. What is my change in my run? +2. Leave it a fraction. Do not make it a mixed number. I need to be able to read this rise over run. Okay, I want you to practice one now. Okay, there's a little try it example. I want you to tell me the slope. Okay, and again, for a third time, I want you to write M equals rise over run. Okay, and then I want you to give me the fraction. So what is my what is my rise? What's my rise? -1. I go down 1, and then I go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -1 over 5. All right, give me thumbs up if you guys got it. Okay. All right. -1 over 5. We'll keep practicing. Okay, so horizontal and vertical lines. So yesterday, we talked about horizontal lines yesterday, okay? And this is where we're going to refer back to those terms you wrote at the beginning of your notes. All right? So remember, I have a graph. So what's my formula? M equals rise over run. So on graph A, is there a change in my rise from my left point to my right point? Is there any change in my rise? So I'm going to write a 0. Is there any change in my run? No. Yes, there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So between the points, the run is 7 units. Okay? Now, this is not my final answer. When 0 is a part of my slope, my answer will either be 0 or it will be undefined, depending on where the 0 is. Okay, so look back in your terms. When 0 is in the numerator, what is my slope? 0. When 0 is in the numerator, my slope is 0. Okay, now let's look at B. Same formula again. I want you guys writing it. M equals rise over run. Now, do I have a change in my rise from my first point to my second point? Yes, I do. I'm going down 4 units. Okay, so I'm going down 4 over. Is there any change in my run? No. So again, look back to your terms. When 0 is in your denominator, what is true about your slope? It's undefined. Okay, you must fully answer these. If you leave it a fraction, but you don't say 0 or undefined, then I can't give you full credit for that. Okay? Okay, this is where the notes get a little bit out of order. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of skip ahead real quick. Does everybody see this diagram on your back page? All right, so skip the try it section for now. Okay? All right, so I feel like this honestly could have been the first slide, but I just kind of went in the order of the textbook. But this gives you all the possibilities for your slope. All right, so let's look up here, okay? Look up here at the screen. From left to right, the line rises. This is positive. From left to right, the line falls. That's negative. Horizontal is 0, vertical is undefined. All right, so this just kind of gives it to you all right there in one piece. Star this. Star it, highlight it. You need to understand the different values for your slope. Okay? Do you guys understand what we're doing today with slope? Slope is how the line is going to be angled. Okay? Is it going to be super steep? Is it going to be flat? Is it going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? That's what we're learning. We're learning how the slope of a line can change. In the next lesson, we're going to learn how to interpret your slope. But it's really hard to interpret it if you don't understand what it's trying to tell you in the first place. Okay? All right, so let's talk parallel lines. What does it mean for lines to be parallel? They never touch. So think about slope. Parallel lines have to have the exact same slope. If they have different slopes, then they're eventually going to intersect. But if they're angled the exact same way, they have the same slope, then they'll never intersect. All right, so I need to figure out, you have a homework question just like this tonight. I need to figure out which one of these lines are parallel. I do that by finding their slopes. All right, so I want you to find the slope of the first line. First line is blue on my screen. You can't see the color on your paper, but you can see blue. All right, so for the blue line, all right, we're going to say M equals, and I want you to write the slope in a fraction. Go ahead and do that. For blue, for red, look up at the screen to see the colors. And for green, you're going to find the slope. You're going to count rise over run from left to right to find your slope. Okay? M equals 4 over 1 for blue. What about red? Rise over run. Tell me. 5 over 1. So are they parallel? Nope. What about green? 4 over 1. Okay. So based on my slopes, which lines are parallel?
Blue and green.
Blue and green. Blue and green. Okay. All right. Any questions on slopes of parallel lines? Okay. So up until this point, we've had a graph to look at. So when we have a graph to look at, we're going to do rise over run. But what if we don't have a graph? Okay. What if all we have are ordered pairs? So keep going down to example 4. It's at the very bottom of this page. Okay. All right. If all I have are ordered pairs, do I have anything to count rise over run? No. Colin, wake up. Do I have anything to count rise over run? So now I need to use my formula for ordered pairs. Okay. Here's my formula. I want you to write it down. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, M equals. But these labels, the y2, like what does y2 mean? Well, you need to understand the sequence of your ordered pair. Okay, so we're going to write the sequence down. I just want you to write it up next to example 4. I want you to write this sequence. My first ordered pair, my sequence goes x1, y1, and x2, y2. This is my sequence when I have 2 ordered pairs. Okay, this is one of the most important concepts of our chapter. All right, so the very first number in my ordered pair, it goes x1, y1, x2, y2. So to understand that sequence, now I can tell which number needs to be plugged in for my y2. According to this order, which number in my ordered pairs is my y2 value? Tell me. Tell me. Wake up or stand up. Okay, it is 2. Okay, it's 2. So 2, the subtraction sign is a part of the formula. So I'm going to minus my y1 value. Which value is my y1 value? It is -1. That means another negative goes in and then my 1. Guys, you run into this a ton with slope. What do we call this? Double negative changes to a positive. So I want you to just go ahead and do that. Automatic. Okay? Over, according to my sequence, which number is my x2 value? 6. Minus, which number is my x1 value? 1. So 6 minus 1. All right, so now I'm ready to combine them. What's 2 plus 1? 3. And what's 6 minus 1? So 3 over 5 is my slope. M equals 3 over 5. All right. Any questions? Any questions? I'm going to bump this down just so I have room to write the next one. So M equals 3 over 5. All right. Okay, I want everyone to read the sequence of the next ordered pairs with me. All right, read the sequence in order, and I want you to label it. X1, Y1. Read it with me. X2, Y2. Okay? So without the sequence, I have no idea which value to plug in for what. Okay? Now that I have my sequence, now I can go to my formula. M equals, I want you to write the formula again. It helps you memorize it. Y2, say it with me, minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Okay. Someone raise your hand. What value are you going to plug in for Y2? Josh, thanks for raising your hand. All right. Which value is Y2? -3. Great job. He's like, I did not. Okay. Minus, Thomas, what is my Y1 value?
5.
No.
2.
No.
-3.
It is -3. Look at your sequence, guys. Does everybody see Y1 is -3? Okay. So minus -3. What do you guys notice there? What do you notice? Double negative. Double negative changes to a positive. Okay. Over, Colin, what would I subtract on the bottom? X2 minus X1. So what numbers? 5 minus 2. Now I'm ready to combine them. What is -3 plus 3?
0.
So M equals 0 over 3. Okay, so now you cannot stop here because 0 is in the slope. You have to decide, is your slope 0 or undefined? And that depends on where it is in the fraction. Okay, so Joy, what do you think? Do you think your slope is 0 or undefined? What do you think? What do you think?
0.
It is 0. Why is it 0, guys? It's in the numerator. 0 in the numerator, my slope is 0. If you don't take that last step, I can't give you full credit because I need to know that you recognize that needs to be 0, not undefined. Okay? So make sure you write it. Questions? Questions? Okay. That's pretty much it. Okay. That's pretty much it for today. Just you have the two formulas. Okay, rise over run, and then your formula for ordered pairs. We're going to do a lot more practice tomorrow. Okay? All right, and that's pretty much it.